I'm just going to list the ones I've been writing down. And if somebody has more to add to that, you can. If someone is not in agreement with these, let us know, and then we'll draft something up. What I've got here is parks and playgrounds, golf course and clubhouse, trails, massage parlors, beauty shops, nail salons. I think included in that probably is barber shops. Dental offices for emergency only, fitness centers, convenience stores, barriers and masks, in large businesses, one person per family. Those are what I've got on the list so far. Is there something else someone would like us to consider now? You know, one of the things we've done here, we don't have to list everything, because once the council has kind of agreed on these things and the mayor has sent out a, if everybody gets the message that these kind of things, these specific things and things like this are what we're limiting, and they'll understand that the council is serious and can move through more of them if we need to. But I think what the public will do is get the message about what we're trying to do here by limiting on many of these. We probably don't have to name every one for people to understand what's going on.
Steve, or I'm sorry, Matt, council, I would probably drift towards on the trail and on the golf course, putting up some signage and letting the people know this is it. Social distancing is mandatory. It's a must. And if they don't want to do it, then we're going to shut it down. I would probably be more aggressive on the C-stores. I mean, if the owners have a way of doing it and can do it safely, but I mean, you've got travelers coming in. To me, the C-stores would be one of the most likely places to pick something up, because it has so much traffic. And so, you know, if those owners have got an idea how they can do it and it can be done safely, but I would agree with Councilman Sloan that we don't want this thing to get out in front of us. If you think about all the nursing homes and the veterans home, the people with compromised immune systems, and the prison, if it starts running in this community, it's going to be really hard to manage. And the best thing to do is to do everything we can to keep it from getting in front of us. So,
Mayor, if I may answer back to make some comments on Councilman Clark's comments.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Councilman Clark, I agree with you wholly. And what we need to understand as a community, I know we have a lot of people on the conference call, is we are 2 to 3 weeks by the time we get a positive COVID-19 test back from a commercial or state lab. We are 2 to 3 weeks behind that statistical curve on where the virus is currently at. So we are already at least, and I'm using a minimum, 2 to 3 weeks behind the virus already.
Thank you.
Well, what I wanted to ask about this on convenience stores, do we want to limit them to only gas and takeout and not people going in? Or do we want to just have masks and barriers?
One of the reasons that people stop at convenience stores, besides to get gas, use the restroom, I would hate to not allow them to do that at a convenience.
Well, my problem with masks and barriers are you can't get them because they are going to the healthcare. So that's kind of futile right now to say that, because you just can't find them. I know people are making masks, that's fine, but I just think the masks and things are just not going to work unless somebody's them and they can get their hands on some.
Well, true on masks, we could do barriers. You know, the
Mayor, if I may
plexiglass-
offer some comments.
Go ahead.
You know, I think the convenience stores being open, Councilwoman Osmus brought some things. I think we need to keep them open. Maybe there is something that we can do in regards to the Director of Public Health here in Missouri and adapt the formula for the convenience stores like they did for over the 10,000, under 10,000, and limit the number of people. That way we can keep that social distancing in place. Because, you know, we've got to look at the long-term effect. We're looking at the short-term right now to stop the spread of the virus. But ultimately, what are we doing as far as economic recovery and sustaining our economy as a city? So we have to take that particular 50,000-foot view into consideration when we start trying to shut everything down. Don't get me wrong. If it was me, I'd close the whole city down, let nobody in or out. Yes, there's constitutional issues to that. Shake your head, Patrick, I know. But those are my concerns. So maybe we can come up with a formula that can limit the number of customers inside that store based on their square footage at the same time. And if the counselor has something to add to that, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, under the Department of Health and Senior Services order, I do believe that convenience stores would fall under the under 10,000 limitation. So the city could go about looking through the building plans and determining which convenience stores are which size, and then could actually go out and post those stores with how many people can be inside them. Employees are not considered in that number, but could go out and post them. Then I will also say that an approach that has been adopted by a significant number of cities in Kansas City is through the administrative orders and other promulgated rules that have come down. They've granted the city manager and maybe the city clerk and the mayor the ability to review mitigation plans that maybe Walmart has a really good idea on how they can still let people in, shop normally, but they have a mitigation plan where the second you step through the door, they have a thermometer, put it to your head. If you're above 99.7, you go, you can't come in, and we're fine with that. So in any order that's going to be promulgated next, I would say, based on what I've heard, we would have something like that built in, where a store like a convenience store or Walmart or somebody could produce a mitigation plan to the city that could establish a better way that they believe that they can mitigate it. And then approval of that plan is up to the mayor and the city manager, and maybe with consultation with somebody from the hospital. We could set up a process, is what I'm saying.
I like that. It makes the business owners responsible to their customers and to their own employees. And if they're going to be lazy about it, then the city will have to step in. But if they're going to be proactive and trying to keep the citizens safe, and like a lot of license office, if I have more than 10 people, they sit in their cars until somebody leaves my office, and then they come in. So I mean, there's a lot of creative things that you can do to kind of keep things kind of rolling without. One other thing, if you don't mind, a lot of other cities are just shutting down the clubhouses. They allow the golf courts to be open. Clubhouses are shut down. So that may be an interim thing. See how people respond to it.
Yeah, another one of our clients owns their golf course, so I drafted some rules and regulations for that golf course, and I'll share those with Steve. The common thing that's occurred is that clubhouses are closed down besides for restroom use. And then if the clubhouse has a grill or bar or something like that, people use it, but the food just has to be essentially curbside pickup. Limited one person per cart. Golf holes themselves are raised, so they're not in the ground. They're actually slightly above the ground. So then people don't need to reach in and pull their ball out of the hole. Flag stick. Ball washers are removed from the course, and sand traps are treated as ground under repair, which means that you just pull the ball out and play it from behind. But those are some of the common things that the golf courses can stay open. I'd also say it's one person per cart. You can't do two people per cart and still meet with social distancing requirements. I actually would encourage anybody that's going to go to the golf course to walk it. You got the time now. So we do have rules and regulations for a golf course ready to go.
Okay, good. Patrick, if you'd share that, we could draft something up tomorrow to show the whole council, which would not close them down completely, but would take into account the guidance we've got so they continue to operate. But we do a couple of these things like closing down the clubhouse and one per cart and that sort of thing.
Well, let me interject. I did talk to some of the golf club members, and they already have some things in place for the clubhouse. I do think that they don't let anybody in the clubhouse, and I think that drinks, no coolers, nothing like that. I don't know the specifics on it, but I do know that they have something in place for the clubhouse. Now, the golf carts, I don't know about that. We may need to address that.
Okay.
Yeah, I will say I didn't draft those rules and regulations without looking at some other ones. So I'm sure if I've seen them, the people that run the golf course have also seen them. They're promulgated by Johnson County in Overland Park, Kansas.
Yeah, well, I do have some things already in place, so we might ask their manager what those are before we, maybe invite them to share their things with us.
Sure, we can do that. Okay, we've had some discussion on trails and C-stores and the golf course. We've got some guidance on that. One of the things that's on this list that could be problematical, and I would want to see if the council could give staff some guidance on that, and that is the dental offices.
I believe it was Councilman Clark suggested an emergency only basis. I agree with him. They're in their mouth. So I think that in an emergency situation, I think that would be between the dentist and the patient, because I wouldn't want to go with my tooth hurt. I would want it fixed.
May I say something?
Yes.
I had a dental office girl come into my office, and she said the state shut them all down except for emergency. But I would probably, rather than, maybe we should just all of them and make sure that they are doing that. The state dental board shut them all down. That's what
Sure. Got it. We'll check.
I would look into that we can do that, but just make sure they're following what their dental board is.
I would like to see something posted on the door of business that are allowing numerous people to come in at once, but they have set their protection of the patrons and of their, I don't know if we can do that or not, can we, Patrick?
Sorry, my associate attorney was yelling in the background, so I missed some of that.
I would like to see businesses have on their doors their plan for protecting the patrons of their business and for their employees, that's posted, procedures that they're using.
Yeah, we would require that. Obviously, anything that would be submitted to the city would become a public record, and any person could file a sunshine law request and get that just generally. But if the fire department or whomever goes out and starts posting the new occupancy limits, they could also include that to in near the posting or on the door, or the order could require the business to post that on their door, what their mitigation plan is.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. We didn't say anything about hotels. I think questions there. Does anybody have any thoughts on hotels?